Asia, Africa, the Middle East. I think in Europe, right?
Europe.
Yeah, Europe. I got it right this time. But I have my co-host with me, former Alderman Jones, which will always be Alderman. Yeah. And Grady's Notebook. Man, I've been wanting to get this guy on for years. And Dr. Lee Warren of Plum, the power-laden man. Okay. I'm going to get on down to work and have them say something briefly, and then we're going to get on down to work.
Well, I'm Virgil Jones Eo, and I was the former alderman of the 15th Ward and the ward committeeman, the first person to hold the position of alderman and committeeman in the Marquette Park area.
Okay. Grady's Notebook, hey. I'm moving up, man, and play them here too. Go ahead.
It's an honor, Brother Bradley. You extended the invitation, and I was just jumping up and down to accept. Of course, on this particular day, because it means a lot to me, as we mentioned before, this is Lou Palmer's birthday.
Beat the drums.
Lou Palmer was born, if I'm not mistaken, 1924. I have to check to make sure about that year, but I have the date for sure. March 28th. And strangely enough, I found myself at Burr Oak Cemetery today because I was looking forward to putting some flowers on the grave of Lou and Georgia Palmer.
He's a good man. I used to listen to WBON, not commentary to things that he said. And Plum, the power-laden man, please. Great show.
I want to thank you for allowing me to come on your show, and always welcome to please you in your endeavor to share and finish truths with the people as they can.
Okay. Now, you know what? There's a thing going on. There's a word called globalization. And a lot of people on the streets don't even know what globalization is. You know. And can y'all explain to them what globalization is? Dr. Lee Warren.
Well, I don't think most people have to understand that, especially African Americans. And if they don't know at this late time, they're in sad shape. And the Heavenly Father have mercy on them, because listen, with all the jobs that have left this country, and most of them are African American initially, blue-collar jobs, basically high-paying jobs. Those jobs have been shipped to Mexico and then Asia. All the jobs now in Asia.
Or China.
I mean, Asia is China. And it's sad that not only did they lose taxes and Social Security, but the social condition that you have, especially in the South and West Side, is maybe a direct result of that. And there is no coming back from this. And the social turbulence, the stuff that you see crazy in the street, it's going to continue to get worse because there is no jobs, and those jobs that are here are low-paying jobs. And if they don't wake up in 2020, within the next 6 or 7 years, Claude Addison said that, I'm going to tell you something, I'm going to be frank with you. African America is going to be a permanent underclass here. Wow. Permanent. And listen, they won't be alone, because there'll be a lot of white folks and other minorities with them. Because see, the next leg up, about 2022, in the beginning of the 20s, the 20s on, we're coming in artificial intelligence, Robux, and you haven't seen hell. You haven't seen hell.
Right there, go ahead on a bit. God, oh, asshole.
Well, Brother Grady, what do you say?
Strangely enough, now I have to admit, I've been out of the loop for a while because I've been dealing with some personal issues. But one of the things that I've been saying and echoing as often as I possibly can deals with the recent situation, and that relates to a president, not Obama, but many times I find myself saying that Bill Clinton was the best Republican president that this country has ever seen. I know he's not a Republican. I know he's a Democrat. But it seemed like he did more for that Republican Party and those Republican business people than any Democrat in history.
I agree with you. And when I was a ward committeeman, I got him 20,886 votes in 1992. And was one of the worst things that I ever did in my life. 3 terms and you're out, where you stay in prison after you've been convicted 3 times. All right?
Yeah.
He also brought in, if you correct me if I'm wrong, where the welfare system that they have, which is only 1% of the whole federal budget, was changed. And folks was talking about how great he was. The only thing great I saw was when he was playing the saxophone.
If I'm not mistaken, he used the Wisconsin state as an example because he wanted to modify the welfare system. He came up with that term of right to work and all this other kind of stuff, you know. But as I said, I put emphasis on the fact Bill Clinton, Democrat Bill Clinton, was the worst Republican president, despite the fact he was a Democrat, that we've ever had, because he just devastated this country. Yeah, he was sympathetic to Dr. King. He did the right thing as far as Arsenio Hall is concerned. But again, I have to be careful because, as I said, I've been out of the loop.
And he can blow their saxophone too. I know.
He can blow the saxophone.
My question, I have a question for both of you. I have a friend named Darnell Glover that is reading the Obama's bill for medical health care. And there is something in there that says that by 2017, they're going to want you to implant a chip in you. And the pretext is if you get hurt, if you get injured, if you get knocked out, we can tell what your vitals are.
Or who you are.
Who you are. And I want to ask you, can you both of y'all give me an assessment? What does that chip mean to you?
It may end up another way of controlling us. Now, quite often, they come forward with what they think are good intentions, but you really and truly have to be aware of what the motivation is. You know, if somebody does have a secret agenda, somebody does have some plans that's still in the closet that they haven't brought out yet, you know. I have a dog that I got from a shelter that has a chip in his neck. He ran away once. They scanned the chip. They called me up, and I was able to go get it. Now, does that mean that the policemen down in Ferguson, if they don't like you, they're going to scan that chip and see if you're a dope dealer, see if you beat your wife last week or something like that? And if you did, they're going to come and get you? I question all of that.
Yeah, do you ever... This is a live show, so please call in, but turn your televisions down when you do call in. Dr. Lee Warren, would you like to expand on that?
Well, the chip is just a minor thing in the whole thing. If people would have a clue what the bill really represents, it's not it never was an insurance bill, as you presuppose. It's a bill of control. Not only do you have a chip in you, but most seniors, they are unaware that they have a death panel. That means, the death panel means that they're not going to extend you the normal health that you normally got in the last 15, 20 years. So they feel, they look at you and say, well, look, you're 80 years old. We don't give you no hip operation. We ain't going to do this for you. And you got metastasized cancer. We don't send your butt to a hospice. That's it. So, I mean, it's a means of control. The people are just dumbed down. It's like it was pointed out about Clinton, you know, he signed a bill for NAFTA, GAFTA, and all that mess. So you have, this is just another extension of these presidents under the control. You know, most people think Obama is the best thing since cheese, and we don't even know whether he's a citizen of the United States, and the bills that he has signed are definitely all unconstitutional and borderline on treason.
You got a question? Go ahead, because I got a... Go ahead.
Well, I want to ask you a question. You think this has something to do with Global 2000? You familiar with that?
I've heard the term.
Well, let me tell you what it is. Global 2000 was put together by Henry Kissinger, where they said they wanted to reduce the population, not of the United States, of the world, from 7 billion people to 500 million. They was going to use starvation,
pestilence.
They was going to control the weather, which they can do through HAARP, which is a place up in Alaska. They can have earthquake any place they want. Do you think that has anything to do with that?
Of
quite possible that it does, and we have to talk about it. Because as I said, now I have been out of the loop, but my ears are still open.
As Lou Palmer would say, that's enough to make a Negro turn black.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But as you say, we must keep talking about it. Because they talk about the politicians and they talk about the bills. So many of the bills that they bring forward, they haven't read, and for some reason they don't want us to read them. So now if that is in the Obama bill, we need to expose it. And I go back to, what is it, from 9/11, the Homeland Security Bill. I think that was thousands of pages, and I just wonder, how many people really read it?
No.
Well, can I tell you something? When I was a public official, I helped to put Durbin as a congressman there. One day he was at my office and he started laughing. He said, I'm going to tell you something that you don't know. I was in the president's office and Reagan, did you hear what I said? Slept through the whole meeting. Never, he sat down in a chair and went to sleep. And George Bush ran the whole meeting. And when he finished, tapped him, said, Mr. President, he said, you take care of everything, George? He said, yes, I did.
Oh, we got two, excuse me.
Go on.
Go ahead, Alderman.
Just go to the call.
Callers. Go ahead, callers, and beat the drums. Turn your television down. Turn it down.
Go ahead, caller.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Haroon Murashid.
Yes.
I currently reside on the north side. I was told to call you in because the Lord told me to call you.
Yes, sir.
He told me to tell you I hear voices and I hear gangster voices. I mean, they're real strong. I don't know who they are. But and then he's going to tell me I had $333 trillion in the bank. It might be more than that.
Okay, you want to leave your number in the back?
I'll leave it.
Okay, and maybe you'll call them, and, you know, and I'll call them. But you know what? Yeah, that's James, of course.
Why the media and the sorority, the white people at the university, why they angry about the African Americans, about why they don't want them on the university, about what they were saying about the black people?
I'm going to let them respond to that.
They're talking about the stuff that happened in the sorority with the Sigma Theta.
Okay.
There has been a constant undercurrent of white activist youngsters in all of the sororities who have had actions against us. And nobody spoke about it. The media does not want to carry it. So that's not a surprise. Fortunately, with the onset of cell phones that take movies, they are able to record something instantaneously and send it around the world instantaneously. And I think that's what happened as far as Oklahoma is concerned. Now, for the young man to stand up and go through all of those gyrations, talking about what he's not going, who he's not going to have in his fraternity.
The ends.
Yeah. Was dumb and stupid, but you know, it's nothing new.
They did it at the national chapter in that organization.
I want to ask y'all something about chips. We're talking about computer chips. You know, I used to actually think that Google's was investing in DARPA, which deals with robots, to create an army. But Dr. Malik Kufiani brought up a statement. He said they don't need the soldier. Say the chip is the army in your cell phone, and when they implant it in you, like Dr. Lee Warren said, do you think that the chip is the army and not the actual something being manufactured to look like a man or a woman?
It's possible.
What do you think, Dr. Lee Warren?
Well, the chip is control, but I mean they're developing intelligence such that they can equal a man. I mean, it's just around the corner before. Not I don't think it'll replace a man, but in terms of the actual technology, it can come very close. You see it in the movies all the time. Many people don't believe that what's in the movies is already, done or is should I say, a prelude.
If both of you are confronted by a circumstance where it says if you do not implant the chip in your index finger, you will not be able to make major transactions. You will be cut off from your Social Security. You will lose your job. How would y'all deal with that? Both of y'all.
Well, I'm gonna tell you the first thing. It ain't gonna happen.
Okay.
It's not gonna happen to that extent because you know what's happening.
Mark of the beat.
No, it's not because of that. Listen, the people, they do fear one thing. That's the masses of the people revolting.
Okay.
So if you look at certain things that they try to push through, they get the CIA used to use this term blowback. You know what blowback?
Blowback. Okay.
Blowback means CIA would do some crazy stuff overseas, and then the adversary, what we call adversary, plus say down in South America or some country, they would come out and set off some against the CIA or America. People would say, well, we don't know what's going on, but the CIA understand that's a blowback. And they understand that the people would come alarm.
But you say the people are dumbed down.
Yeah, but I mean, there's certain things you can push somebody. You can push people into a corner.
Okay.
You can push a dog into a corner.
And he'll attack.
He'll attack you. You can push a cat in the corner, and it'll attack you.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
So there's certain things that they can do. I think they'll get away with it. And as the Illuminati used to say, they like to put it into. It's like putting a frog into a boiler, and you ease the what? Temperature on it. It's easily. You don't want to get it too hot because he'll jump out. So they have to take this thing real kind of easy because it initiates sort of blowback. A good example is Obama came in with executive orders, and he thought he was going to undermine the Second Amendment with these with the guns, and he got such a huge blowback that Congress and everybody said, "No, we ain't touching that." Now you have to go around with an executive amendment. That could be even, but I mean that's something. As a matter of fact, they sold more guns and ammunition as a result of him talking about he's going to take it to the.
Okay.
So you can see how stupid it is, you know.
You want to respond to that? Would you submit yourself to that?
Well, I'll put it like this, Bradley. I don't trust this government at all.
Would you submit yourself to a chip?
No, I would not.
Okay.
That's right.
And if I do not have an alternative to express my reservations, then I would have to, I want to say revolt, but I would have to take some type of measures in order to protect my liberty and my decision.
Okay. I hear the majority of people I interview on the streets, they say, man, I probably would if I was going to lose my job. But we go ahead, caller. Go ahead and beat the drums.
I have a question. The question is, are you happy with the results of what happened up in Missouri, especially the fact that they found out that the issue around the hands up was not something that happened and that it finally got resolved? Is that something you would agree with?
What happened in Missouri? Y'all know.
On the surface, I take it they're talking about the investigation of the police.
Okay.
And the practices down there.
Okay.
Of course, we can't say that we're not happy with the results because we've not heard of anything like that recently that I can recall. But strangely enough, I think it's happening in more than just the state of Missouri, in more than just that one community. Okay, we have an incident that happened in Inkster, Michigan. Now the gentleman should not have gotten out of his car, but still, he didn't look like a gangbanger. Okay, he looked like a church-going person. You know, no, he should not have gotten out of his car, but I won't judge. But my point is, Ferguson, Inkster, Michigan, there are a number of communities throughout this United States just like that.
Well, let me give you an example. In the city of Chicago, one of the rules and regulations of the police department says that you are not to have a person to exit their vehicle. Most citizens don't know that. You have to get a copy of the rules and regulations of the police department to know that.
Question, is that what Reverend Meeks learned the hard way?
Well, that happened when they
Stopped him in Roseland and he jumped out of his car, throwing around, and he was a legislator.
But that's the order of the police department for a police officer not to ask you out of your vehicle for a traffic violation. All right? I'm telling you what I know, not what I think.
Okay.
And you can read it for yourself under the rules and regulations. That's when that young lady was killed, all right?
Right.
Because of the situation with her ex-boyfriend and her partner who they were dating, all right?
Okay. Was you going to respond, Dr. Lee Warren, to the question?
Well, you know what? You know, a lot of times we shoot ourselves on our foot. We blame it on the white man. And, you know, we done suffer 2,000, I mean, a good 100 years of that stuff. That stuff's got to go away. I mean, you listen. You got a city down there where they hold the majority, and them Negroes sit up on their butt
and don't vote.
Then who's responsible for it?
Absolutely.
But you know that, you know what though, Dr. Lee Warren, some people do look at it as, you know what, there's a revolution that takes place in America every single year, whether the Democrats win or the Republicans win.
No, we're talking about on a local election.
You're not talking about on national.
No, we said a local. That's a local election.
Okay.
You elect your councilman, you elect your mayor.
Okay.
And the
town is 67% black.
Oh, you're talking about? I understand.
Yeah, to my Ferguson.
Ferguson is 67% black.
Oh,
so they should have had that situation.
It's their fault.
It's their fault. They
But
said
Doc, I'm not a communist.
Right.
Did you realize? Because of what I'm about to say. There's a book that was written by Lenin. I'm trying to think of the title.
Right, though.
And you know what he said? For a revolution to take place in America is impossible.
Oh, that's exactly right.
Because the lumpen proletariat, that means the poorest of the poor, is daily being bought up.
You can look at certain people.
I was just finna say the same thing. They sat there, and most of those people were on low income, they were on welfare, they were living in those projects, you know, and they're looking for a handout. Mm-hmm. And anytime you get a person continually handout, you undermine his whole self-esteem, and he goes along to get along. Mm. See, that was that. I'm gonna tell you something straight up. The Democrats, and it goes back to the 40s when Dawson was here, and they moved them people into the projects there. The whole thing was for the project was to keep them Negroes over there so they could have a voting block there, and it totally undermined the people's work ethics. Because blacks, you know, if you ask any grandparent, black people were like Mexicans coming. They were the best workers here. But that was all undermined by the Democratic Party and putting the people on welfare.
Well, you know what Malcolm said, Bush? Malcolm said, the Democratic Party, and I once was, I'm an independent now, but Malcolm said the Democratic Party is the Dixiecrats. They were the ones in the South who was hanging black folks, killing them, all right? And the only reason we went to be Democrats was because FDR tricked him.
That's right.
He told Dawson, look, tell you what I'm gonna do. We got this program where we're gonna create a bunch of jobs.
That's it.
But you can't get none of them for your community unless you all switch from being Republicans, because Dawson was a Republican.
That's right.
And once you do that, we'll give y'all some jobs. And they started doing that, giving them jobs, not earning the jobs. And look at what happened.
Mm-hmm. I want to deviate just for 1 minute. There's a mayoral election going on in Chicago, year 2015. Okay, you have Chuy Garcia, and you have Ron Emanuel, who is our current mayor. Do y'all can both of y'all give me an assessment of both of these individuals so people can make an educated decision? Because we don't come on April the 7th. This is a live show.
I truly hate to say it, that I'm stepping out on critical waters, and I have to accept my position. The election on April
3 minutes.
the 7th is, I think, we almost are mandated to support Rahm because of Obama. If Rahm loses, it's going to affect Obama more than it's going to affect Chicago. Mm-hmm. That's my little theory. Chuy has been great. Chuy was a supporter of Harold Washington. Harold Washington named him to that automatic position. Mm-hmm. But for whatever reason, I just fear the national Republican parties who are so vicious that will tear everything down that Obama has attempted to do. Obama has not been the best. He could have been better.
Mm-hmm. You got to give us your assessment.
Well, I'm going to say this. I'll be frank, I'll be forthright coming to you. Neither one of us has put forth a plan to save this city. It is financially run. Listen, the city is financially run. City, state, and the country is all broke.
And the county.
And the county. They're all broke.
Who's the better? Who's the better of them?
I'm saying, did they ever put forth a plan? I want a plan. You tell me exactly what you're gonna cut and what kind is income and revenue.
Who's the lesser of the evils? Let me ask
that's totally relevant. They haven't put forth a plan.
Okay. So.
You know, listen, when you go to bankruptcy court, the first thing they ask you is your assets And they say, listen, we see your expenses. Where the hell is your? We want to know. One of the trustees going to ask you, where are all the assets that you have, and you declare them. If not, your butt going to jail.
Okay.
But I'm saying we got all this. Listen, you got a $20 billion police pension. That's a balloon payment. How this stuff is going to be paid?
Pension plan.
Pension plan. You got real estate going through the roof. Listen, we need a plan right quick. We want you to at least lay it out vaguely, you know.
Okay, we got 1 minute. Assalamu alaikum, and tell us when y'all shows come on, please.
Well, I don't have a fixed time slot. It's scheduled according to the tapes that I turn in. But I try to turn in many tapes so at least they get aired 2 or 3 times a month.
Okay, and play 'em.
We come up every Wednesday from 8:30 to 9:30 on Channel 36 and reshown from 10:30 to 11:30 on Channel 36. So we have a free lecture every Sunday at 1100 East 55th, and we call us at 773-501-824. That's 773-509-8124.
Assalamu alaikum. Who you think will make a good mayor, Alderman?
All they have to do in order to deal with the deficit is one thing. One simple thing. I put in 1995 a transaction tax. Tax the Board of Trade and the Board of Options.
Would be a good mayor.
And they would collect
You ain't gonna answer.
$900 million from the 2% tax.
Who would be a good mayor?
Whoever submits that tax.
I thought you was gonna say vote your interest. So. Okay.
It's a thought. I think that's a good idea. That's an
It
alternative.
wouldn't hurt any little people.
Excuse me.
That's right.
Vote your interest. You be looking at the Underground Railroad, and you know what? This will be posted on YouTube. Assalamu alaikum to everybody.